welcome to this week's Monday Minutes. My name is Kelly.
And my name is Jessie, and here we are back to basics talking about this week, the holds queue. For those of you that watched last week, we talked about holds to pull list. Today we're focusing on the holds queue, which is truly built for multi-branch systems or systems that are a large consortium. This lets you help narrow down and pull efficiently from all those different locations. So the first thing we're going to talk about are probably the system preferences that drive how this holds queue works. So we're going to navigate into administration, and we're going to come right over here to our system preferences, and we're going to pull up everything that ties into the holds queue. So Kelly, do you want to talk about just what we have here for our options with the holds queue setup?
Sure. The first one you see, holds queue prioritize branch, actually is new in 2305, which allows you to determine how the holds queue will be filling a hold, whether it's matching an item, the patron's home library, with an item matching the item's home library or the holding library. And so when you upgraded to 2305, it kept the home library as its choice because that was Koha's default behavior. But it's something to think about when you're kind of reevaluating your holds process, because that's probably what you're going to do when you watch our Monday Minutes, is think about maybe if it's at where it's sitting right now, maybe that's going to transfer less versus figuring out what the transfer would be like if it was going home.
For the libraries that have collections that float, it would be good to set that preference to holding branch, and that would minimize transfers back and forth between locations.
Perfect. The next one, maybe this was a 2211 feature. Wow, they're really amping up the holds queue. This is going to allow your holds queue to run consistently. And it's also going to clear those holds as you pull them. So for any of those OG Koha users where it would sit on the list until the holds queue ran again, this is something that you can opt to turn on to enable that holds queue to run in real time. The entire holds queue process runs on a cron. So if this is not something you're using currently, you do need to have a cron to be turned on to run it. And then the real-time holds queue would also be something to include in that cron as well. Oh, and the last one, then depending on the structure of your library, you can determine where those holds are being pulled from. So maybe you have, major branches that you want to be able to say, these are where we're going to fill our holds, or we're going to fill them in a certain order, and you can enter them all in this text box. And then it says, and do you want me to fill those holds if they're open or closed or just open? So that's going to look at your calendar. And then the branches that are in that box, do you want me to fill those holds in the order you've written them in the box or that random order? Now, of course, libraries can have nothing in the box and say, fill holds from any branch that I have in my system.
Perfect. All right, now let's go in and watch the magic happen. So again, as you see, we have our set to holding library because we do float our collections. And then we have the real-time holds queue enabled, and we are looking at all of our branches within the system in random order. So we're going to come up to circulation, and this time we're going to look at the holds queue. Now, this was an enhancement we saw a few releases ago where we got the opportunity to now narrow down. Before, it would default to your home branch or where you're logged in at, which is exactly where we're at now. But now you can also say, I want to just do, let's say, DVDs. So that way you don't have to do the whole queue. You could just say, show me this particular item type. And that way you can send people off and print that area or use a tablet to go grab them, or just look at all of the different ones. You just want the whole queue all at once. Once we hit submit, that is going to bring back a list of results in the system. So here we're looking at the title. It's showing us the location, the item type, call number, and then of course the barcode or any available that needs to be pulled. Just like Kelly showed us last week, you can select the columns that you want to show. So let's say we wanted to hide, enumeration, or let's say copy number, because those are not things that we use. We can hide that. Maybe we want to hide the, patron category too. Maybe it's not necessary. So that takes our view down a little bit smaller. as Kelly mentioned last week as well, if you hit that configure button, that's going to take us into the table settings so we can hide those automatically by default. So again, if you want to, you can set that information up.
That
Now,
would be a permission base, Jessie. So
Yep.
only people with the correct permissions could configure. I love the columns configuration to do it real time, because if I'm printing it, I want it to fit on one sheet of paper. So maybe I need to just take out some of those columns that are not as important, so I get that one piece of paper.
absolutely. And then of course you can come in here, hit that print button, and then that will take us out where we can print our holds queue. Or if you're using a tablet, remember you can take that out in real time and grab those items. Okay.
So I'm super glad we're going back to basics, because look at all the changes that have happened in like the last year.
Yeah, seriously. Okay. Have a great week.
week.
Bye.
Bye.